Walker here at Def Digits Guitar Lessons, and today I have a lesson for my student Chris, who's out today, and I'm going to talk about strumming and singing at the same time. So many guitar students who I've had in my lessons learn how to do strumming patterns, and they can also sing a song that they really want to be able to play and sing, but they struggle to be able to put those two together at the same time, to strum and keep the singing going, or to sing and keep the strumming going. One or the other tends to break down, and they have trouble just jumping in there and doing it. So what I sort of used for myself when I learned how to do this skill, and what I use for a lot of my students, I call it my strumming and singing matrix. And I made a little copy for you to see right here. This is, oh, look at that. It has a backwards Def Digits watermark at the top. That's just on the back side. So this is Joe's strumming and singing matrix. This is a diagram of all the stuff you're going to work on. These are check boxes in here. And now let me explain what the different colors mean. So across the top is, in orange, whether you're playing with the recorded music or not. So it's either you're not playing with the recording here, or here you are playing along with the recording of the song. Next in pink we have whether you're singing or not. So the dash is you are not singing, and here sing means you are singing. So we have 4 different variations right now. You can do nothing and nothing. You can sing by yourself, do nothing and listen to the recording, or you're going to be playing along with the recording. And here it's singing along with the recording. The green down this side, you could be doing, this is basically what you're doing with your body or with your guitar. Be doing nothing. You could be tapping the beat with your hand. You could be doing a simple strumming pattern. You could be doing a complex strumming pattern. And here, there's even a continuum here on some songs. If there are several versions of simple, gradually getting more and more complex in the strumming patterns, then you could have a couple more rows here if you need to. You can do it mentally, or you can just make out your own copy of this. So let me walk you through. I'm going to use Wonderwall as the guinea pig song today for strumming and singing on it, because it is a pretty tough syncopated strumming pattern to get your strumming hand around, but also to be able to do that while you're singing is quite the hurdle. So maybe I will struggle with it today. So in the first box right here, you're doing nothing and nothing and nothing. So that one we can automatically check off. The next one next to it is you're doing nothing with your body, you're singing the song and not with the recording. So that might seem trivial, but it's really essential to be able to do that. If you're going to strum and sing the song in sync together at the same time, make sure you can do that. Make sure that step is solid before you go on to these other more complex steps. So once you're able to, I mean, that also means memorize the lyrics, be able to sing through the entire song convincingly all by yourself, even if it's just in a shower, nobody else is listening. Maybe record yourself and listen back to it and see how it sounds. If that needs work, then that's probably an easier thing to work on than doing it along with the complex drum. So once you've done that, you can check it off. And let's get the lighting right here. The next step, and you don't have to go exactly in this order either, but you could be going in any order. You'll probably get a roadblock on some of these where you work on a little bit and it's just not working out. Go work on some of the other boxes. So the next step would be you're doing nothing with your voice, nothing with your body, and the recording is going. That means you're listening to it. Seems trivial again, but it is essential. And if you, the lighting is going wonky with the white paper. If you're having any trouble with the song, sometimes a critical listening of the recording is one of the things that's really going to help you. So make sure you're doing that as you're working on a song. Then singing along with the recording. What you can work on there, what you can listen for, is any cues that you might be missing. If they start singing the next line before you come in, you'll realize maybe you don't remember the words, but then they start singing and then you jump in and you sing along with them. If you need the recording in order to remember the words, then that's a little red flag saying that's something that's probably easy to work on. Just memorize the lyrics, or memorize the notes you need to sing, or whatever it is that's not going perfectly when you sing along with the recording. Now we get down to this row where You're actually doing something with your body, tapping the beat. So if I were doing this square again, we can just knock that off because it's just tapping the beat with nothing. If I were tapping the beat and singing at the same time, doing Wonderwall, I would need to do it something like this. I would do it with my right hand because that's going to be the one that's strumming because I'm right-handed. So what are the notes I need to sing? Today. Okay. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. So all the way through there, I'm keeping a steady beat with my hand and singing along with it. And if strumming and singing at the same time is a struggle for you, then this is probably the thing that would be most valuable to work on. It doesn't even involve the guitar. It's just tapping the beat to the song and feeling exactly where it is and singing along with that beat. You'll notice that some of these words, some of the syllables that I'm singing land right on the beat. Some of the syllables land right before or right after it. Sometimes there's a note that's carried over that you're singing through the beat. Those are all pretty tricky things to do until you've done them for a long time, and then they feel just as easy as the rest. So let me do it again. Today, this first thing that pops out is that beat one, there's nothing to sing on it. So that's something that you'll realize if you are focused on tapping the beat and singing along with it, whether you do it with or without the recording. So today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. So most of those beats had syllables directly on them, except for right at the end. The word you comes before the beat. And if you wait to sing the word you on the beat to make it feel right, it's going to sound like, gonna throw it back to you. And that sounds so hokey, and it sounds so wrong in the context of the song. So what most people will do there, without realizing it, is gonna throw it back to you, and try to put the beat on the word that they're singing. And that doesn't work out either, because that's not a steady beat, and that's not going to match up with what you're trying to play on the guitar. So watch out for those moments. Let me do the second line. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. Same rhythm there. It's a same kind of thing. So all the way through the song, you'll find moments that are easy to sing on the beat and moments that are tricky to sing on the beat for whatever reason. So here is where you need to work on them. It's just keeping a steady beat and singing through the song. So that was this step right here. Then tapping the beat along with the recording without singing is another good skill. So you hear someone else singing it, and you need to be able to tap a consistent beat while you're doing that. So if you're listening to the recording, oftentimes if it's a song with a full band, there's drums in there that are giving you the beat a little more clearly than just the vocals or just the guitar would. So that might be easier, might be harder, depends on the song and depends on the person trying to do it. And I just covered this one, singing while you're tapping the beat. Also do that along with the recording. Next, down here we have the simple strum. So for Wonderwall, that would be something like this. Where'd my pick go? For Wonderwall, let me do the real strum, then I can show you this simple one. So there's a lot going on in that full complex strum. So if I'm doing something simple, maybe it goes something like, or maybe it's just one strum per chord going. But whatever you do, it's got to be on the beat, and it's got to be keeping a steady beat all the way through. So that simple strum, along with not singing and not the recording, that's what we just did. That's the first thing to learn on the guitar, and it's the first thing I teach all my students when they learn a new song is just preview the chords and try to play them in time. Just play whole notes for all the chords if they all last a measure. Next one is do that simple strum and sing along with it without the recording. So that would be something like this. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. Or two strums on each chord. So it'd be, by now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. if that presents any problem, you can just mentally or physically on your own copy just make an extra row here of a simple, like a 1 strum per chord and then 2 strums per chord if the song lends itself to that. So that was singing with the simple strum. Next we can go to with the recording, playing that simple strum along with the recording, just being able to keep track of where all the chords are. You just do 1 strum per chord all the way through the song, and you can do that really reliably with the recording, feeling the beat all the way through. Then that you've got yourself in a great position on the guitar as a starting point. Then we try to do that with singing, which would be a lot easier than trying to sing and do the complex strumming pattern at the same time. Basically, this is where we want to end up in all of this work. So suppose I get here, and I work on this and I can't quite get it. I'm not going to check it off, and I'm not going to stay there hammering away at this without going to these. I'm just going to go try all of my empty boxes. So at whatever point, you'll probably end up kind of going along the chart this way, down towards being able to do things with the recording and singing and doing the complex strumming pattern. But it won't come out exactly like this. And it won't come out in any sort of linear fashion. It will come out sort of like this one gets skipped because you couldn't do it, and that one was easy, and this one was really hard, and that one was sort of easy. I'm almost there, and it takes another day of work, and then you get it. So you'll be creeping along the chart like this, and just make sure that you're working on all of the empty ones. Don't leave any of those out, or at least work on the empty ones close to what you can do. You don't need to go straight to this one and actually put time in there. It's more valuable to put time in on the ones that are closer to the stuff that you've already done. So let's suppose I can't do that one yet. I'm not solid on it, so I leave it blank. I need to come back and do more work on it. I'm going to work on these now too. So the complex strum without singing, without the recording, and that was what I just played a minute ago. And on this song, it is pretty complex. What's so weird about it is 3 of those chords change on up strums. It's the up strum and the upbeat, where that's the first strum of the new chord when you go to G and D and A. So suppose you can do that, but you cannot do that and sing yet. So you're going to leave this one blank. And maybe over here, doing the complex strum along with the recording, you feel like you're almost there. It just doesn't quite sync up yet. And maybe with a couple days work, you can get it. And then you end up in this position where you've got three squares you need to work on. And just divide your time between those. And if one of them feels like you're closer to it than the other, spend your time there and try to get that one checked off. Because each one of these squares, all the way through the whole thing, each one that you can do really well helps all the other ones. So suppose then that you're able to do the simple strum. I think if you ended up at this point, I would probably focus my time on the simple strum with the recording, with singing right there. And oftentimes you can look at what's left and say, well, that one seems like it's probably the easiest one. And that's probably the one that you should spend your time on, is make sure the easy ones are really solid, or the ones that seem like they should be easy, but they're not quite there yet. Make sure those ones get solid, and that's where you can get the most money for your work. So eventually you end up with everything checked, and then these are the end goals, to be able to sing and do the full complex strum at the same time, either with or without the recording. Depends on what you're trying to do with the song. If you're trying to play it with a band, you should be able to do it with the recording too. If you're just trying to do like around a campfire, then do it on your own. If you're trying to lead a sing-along around a campfire, make sure you can do it with the recording with other people. So eventually you get here, and yay, you've got them all down. So that's my Strum and Sing Matrix, and that's what I've used with a lot of my students to help them be able to strum complex strum patterns and sing at the same time. And I don't think I've done it yet on this song, so let me do it here. I'll play us out with the real Wonderwall. Oh, I've got one more thing to mention on this particular tune. When you get to the point where you're doing the complex strum and singing at the same time, you will have some moments where you have to zoom in and figure out exactly which syllable goes on which strum. And I'll show you where I'm doing that here. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. So on those two lines, I'm going, today is gonna. On the second syllable of gonna is where that upstroke comes on G. So I have that as a little landmark in my brain or in my ear. Gonna be the day that they're gonna. Same thing again. Gonna on the up strum on the second syllable of gonna gets us to our D sus4. Gonna throw it back to you. And then just on the syllable U gets us our first up strum on the A7 sus4. By now you should have somehow. So that was should have. Up strum on the second syllable of should have. Should have somehow realized what you gotta do. So there, going into D sus4, it's on the last held syllable of realized. It's in the middle of that last held syllable. So it doesn't really give you a set landmark to say right here is where you do that up strum, but that's where you have to reliably feel the beat through there and sing in the syncopated way that is required for the song. Realize what you gotta do. Did the wrong chord there. Realize what you gotta do. So again, that's on the last syllable. On do gives me my last up strum. So every song that you strum and sing will have little landmarks like that you might want to keep track of. Maybe some of them are easy enough that they keep track of themselves because it's like a strong syllable on a strong downbeat, and that's the first strum of the chord, and you don't even have to think about it. It just comes out naturally. When the strumming pattern is complex or syncopated, or the singing is complex or syncopated, when the rhythms are a little bit weird with the singing and with the strumming, it takes a little more zooming in and figuring things out to know exactly which strum goes on which syllable. Sometimes it's more helpful to not think about that, just feel the beat. Sometimes it's more helpful to know which of those little landmarks you need to be following. So that's everything I got for you. Head over to my website, deftdigits.com, deftdigits.com, for more lessons and other things like this. I have a few courses on there that you might enjoy. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more videos like this one. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.